Hello, how you guys doing? James here. Hope you're having a good day, good evening, or whenever you see this video. Um, I've been seeing quite a few people make a video on this guy, Vivek Ramaswamy. He's running for governor of Ohio, and I'm gonna play a couple videos, and I'll get back with my input why for him to run for governor would not be a good time at this time. Not because of some of the views in this video, but I'm gonna show you another reason why he should reconsider.
Storms are coming. Be ready before they do. Simple steps to...
Can't lie, I love this. This was at a turning point event. Yes, the Charlie Kirk turning point event in Montana, where basically those white evangelicals was all like, we don't want no Hindu. And I am so happy that Vivek Ramaswamy is getting his just due, because this man has used black people, like a lot of the colored people that are Republicans use us as the scapegoats and talk shit about us. And finally, he's getting his karma because they letting them know we don't want no Hindu. Let's go ahead and get into the intro, y'all. But first, like you see right here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get to it, y'all. Listen, they don't want no Barack Obama, no Kamala, and they don't want no Vivek either. So let's get into it, y'all. Actually, it's going to be two separate videos. So this one is from Carl. He's the guy right there. And he's, let's just get into it.
Profess to be a conservative, correct?
I'm a proud conservative.
If you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion than those who founded this country, those who grew this country, built this country, made this country the beautiful thing that it is today, what are you conserving? You are bringing change. I'll be 100% honest with you. Christianity is the one truth. Jesus Christ is God, and there is no other God. He is part of the Holy Trinity, and any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith?
Like I said, I'm not here to justify my faith to you any more than you are to me, but what I do share is the value set this country was founded on, and I think that it's really important that we not reinvent the founding of this country and what it was actually all about. The Founding Fathers, they had an opportunity to write a religious code just like most other nations in human history. All right, founded either on a monarch or a particular faith or a particular lineage. That's where most nations in human history are founded. Not America. We are the only country in the human history where there is a set of civic ideals that brought together a divided polyglot group of people 250 years ago, where freedom of conscience was a core belief set of our founding fathers, all the way Thomas Jefferson. You know who he is? What?
The slave owner?
You know what document he signed?
The Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, and what was his belief system?
He was a deist.
He was a deist. Our third president, the man who signed this nation into existence, was a deist. Do you know Benjamin Franklin?
So, as I understand it, the deism, it's kind of like you do believe in God, but as far as some of the scripture, you don't really fall into because it sounds like fairy tale. That's what I understand it to be, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but that's what I understand it. But technically, he was a Christian.
Franklin is?
Yes.
You know what his belief system was?
He was a Quaker, yes.
He was also a deist, similar to Thomas Jefferson. So what I think that we often do is we talk about U.S. history. I have a better suggestion. Let's actually consider reading U.S. history. Consider studying U.S. history. Learn the founding of our country, and that's what made our founders, I believe, the most extraordinary people known to the history of man. We would do well to actually respect their legacy rather than to reinvent some sort of imitative version of every other nation in human history. That's not us. I'm sorry, that's what makes America great, and that's why I am proud to be an American. This is the country that I will die fighting for if I have to, because it's...
But I'm going to say this. I agree with what Vivek is saying as far as him defending himself and his position is like, hey, I still have American values. Hinduism is just my religion, right? However, what the guy Carl is saying, I don't want you coming up here and changing how we do things. We don't want you changing things around here. That's too much change. We don't want no change around here. And that's how a lot of them feel. If we're going to be completely honest, a lot of them feel that way.
And for those ideals, and that's why we're here.
Right. So
Keep praying and pledge allegiance to the flag, my friend. Thank you.
Of course, Christ is king. But my response to that would be the same way that my church would let a practicing Hindu, a practicing Muslim, a practicing Jew come in and enter and worship with us on a Sunday morning. That person would not be allowed membership. And I'm not saying don't give other religions citizenship. I'm just saying you can have freedom of religion in an extremely religious environment. And that is what our founding fathers intended. If you look at the structure of our government, it is a replication, a mirror of the structure of Reformed churches in America in that time.
Absolutely. I think our nation was founded on Judeo-Christian principles. The question is, what are those values? They're the values enshrined in the Ten Commandments. Do we share those values in common? You're darn right we do. And I think that people of most faiths across this country share those values in common. What we're failing to do is actually standing for those values in the government as it actually runs. And so, what I suggest is study U.S. history, study what made the country great. And if you think Thomas Jefferson or Benjamin Franklin were not eligible to be founders or leaders of the country because they were deists, then you and I respectfully have a difference of opinion. And yet the beauty of our country is we're still able to have that difference of opinion and still call ourselves fellow citizens. Thank you, my friend. All right?
Thank you very much, Vivek. Have a great rest of your day. God bless.
Here's the part that he's not adding in here, in which we know what it is. They were white. That's what they had over you. They were white. Doesn't matter if you want to break it down what kind of religious beliefs they had.
Right.
At the end of the day, they were white.
Right. Right.
They had the complexion for
With
the
the
protection. You, my friend, you don't have that. So let's go ahead and get into the next video. Oh, and by the way, this is what Carl said. Carl said, I remember this moment vividly. It was infuriating. Thankfully, it just inspired me to hit harder when I spoke. Mind you, Vivek thinks that these are wins for him. So let's go ahead and get into the next video, right? He thinks that he had this breakthrough, but I noticed that they cut off the video at the end. So let's get to it, you guys.
Okay. So, I have a personal question. It's allowed. So based on the press, based on what the press says about your beliefs, you call yourself a Hindu, but you also call yourself Christian.
I don't call myself Christian. I call myself a Hindu.
Okay. So based on what the Turning Point's values are, which is Christianity, I'm a little confused on why you believe in I don't know. Wouldn't it be logical to conclude that a monotheistic organization would be more, I don't know, I guess I just don't understand why I guess a polytheistic ideology would support some sort of, I guess, monotheistic perspective, which Christianity is. So I guess
I want to say this. Bitch, do you know how to speak? But secondly, I think what the struggle is, what they're doing, they're trying not to come off as bigoted, so they're trying to choose their words wisely. I think that's why they're stumbling over their words. And two, they can't just be ignorant and bigoted, but they're stumbling over the words because they don't want it to appear that way. But basically, when they're referencing him as a Hindu, it's just not his religion. They're saying, no, you are a Hindu. This is your ethnicity. You are a Hindu. You know, that's how they see him.
Why you have Christian values in that way.
Sure. Happy to address that. What's your name, sir?
Liam Birmingham.
Liam. So tell me about what you know about Hinduism.
Hinduism is a polytheistic religion that.
So with due respect, I'll just cut in right there because there's one thing I have a little bit of authority on. I'm actually a monotheist. I believe there's one true God. It's from the Vedanta tradition of Advaita philosophy, not stuff that we need to spend a ton of time here on. But since you asked about it, I wanted to address it. I believe there's one true God. Now let me just ask you, because I know that may be a hard thing to process. What's your faith?
I'm a Christian.
follower of Jesus.
Great. Do you believe in the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit?
I think a lot of people here do. So
Good. And that doesn't make you a polytheist, does it?
probably not. No.
Great, because I think this is it's a great spiritual question. There's good dialogue here. Is every religion has its reconciling of the one and the many, and so in my faith,
No. The Holy Trinity isn't telling you that there's three separate gods. No. That's not the same thing, sir. Because as you guys know, Hinduism, they have multiple gods.
Exactly.
But what he's saying is that he only has mono. He only believes in one. It's a certain sector that he believes in.
Right.
But he's trying to compare that to the Holy Trinity.
No.
That's not the same thing.
No.
It's basically three gods. Basically, that's what he's saying.
Right.
I believe there's one true God. He resides in all of us, and he appears in different forms, but it's one true God. So I'm an ethical monotheist. That's the way I would describe my faith. Now,
Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me say this. No. The only way God comes in a person, you have to accept his son through Yeshua HaMashiach, basically Jesus Christ. So that's it right there. No. Anybody, that's who his connection is. He might have created all of us as he created Adam and Eve, but Yeshua was the one that basically brought us, those who come through the Son are his personally. Otherwise, you're just basically out there for yourself. No, Vivek, no way whatsoever. I agree with the brothers saying.
I will tell you, I'm not running to be pastor of Ohio. I'm running to be governor of Ohio, and I didn't run to be pastor of America. I ran to be president of the United States of America. Can I ask you a question in response? Because I love dialogue like this.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you think it's inappropriate for someone who's a Hindu to be, say, a U.S. president?
No, I think it's no. Well,
You be honest.
isn't Hinduism? Well, I mean, I can ask yourself that Hinduism believes in Shiva and what is it? The flute god. I forget.
Right, Krishna, who's you're thinking of.
Yeah, Krishna.
So the one thing for you to take away from, about my...
Basically, he doesn't think you should be in any kind of political office or at least running the state. They don't believe that at all. They don't want you.
Yes.
But of course, he's not realizing this.
Faith is... I'm an ethical monotheist. I believe in one true God, the Advaita philosophy of Vedanta. And I think that as you think about the Holy Trinity and what that means for... You're not a polytheist either. That's a similar philosophy, and I'd love to kind of continue that over a religious dinner conversation sometime. But
you also call yourself a Hindu as well.
I am a Hindu. So I'd like to... So we're here mostly... I love having spiritual discussions. We can continue this another time. What I'd like to focus on today, though, is actually... where that leaves us with the values of our own country, the shared values of this country. And actually, to that effect, what's your name?
Liam Burbank.
Liam, I have something I'd like to give you. Would you like to...
Here's the thing, because he's trying to pacify and basically go like, even though I'm a different religion, we have the same values. Yeah, I believe you can share the same values as a Hindu, as a Muslim, as a Christian, as Catholic. You can share certain values, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, what they're plainly saying to him, he's getting his Hindu wake-up call. I can't say Negro because he's not a Negro, but he's getting his Hindu wake-up call like, they just don't want you.
Right.
They don't want an Indian. They don't want a Hindu. They're saying it plainly, but you're still trying to be like, well, our founding fathers... You weren't in the founding fathers' image. You weren't at all. Let's be clear about that. Let's be clear.
Just come on stage and join me for a moment. It's something that's really important to me. It's next to my faith and to my family. This is the next most important thing to me in life. I usually keep it with me. And for tonight, I think it'll actually be really useful for having you come up here, and I'd love to give it to you. You want to join us for a second? Give Liam a round of applause, folks, for pretty brave and asking a tough question.
We're challenging the standard.
Hi, Shadi Sawoyidin. Hope you are great. Welcome to Nayasip. Let me tell you all something. Some people do not listen, even when you scream it in their ear, and they are not deaf. They will still not hear it. Vivek Ramaswamy had a jubilee debate with Turning Point, and the little kids there told him that he cannot be the governor of their state, right? Because he's not a Christian. How does he want to be a governor? They told him straight up. And he told them, I do not want to be your pastor. I want to be your governor. Who will tell Vivek Ramaswamy that he does not have the skin color for protection? Black people have been telling you this for years. And you said that it is MAGA, that red heart that you want to be. And you are red heart.
Now, I'm going to interject right here. Now, why are there some South Asian Indians have this mindset like this? Because in particularly in India, there's a caste system over there, and I believe what it is that without some South Asian Indians, what their parents have always told them that they're good. It's good to be in the medical field, lawyer, doctor, anything like that. And so they figured that they have a certain status. And then the second thing that among some South Asian Indians, they also have this thing like with bleaching of the skin, like they do in the Caribbean. And so by the bleaching of the skin, they figured, and they've told this, I've heard this come from one of the young ladies saying that how her father, and even like for what they call the Bollywood movies over there, they would pick up the lighter Indians and put them in their videos, but they don't want the darker ones. And so what they do over in India is that they in their culture is that they promote light white looking Hindu Indians that are in the Hindu religion. This is the truth. But the sad thing about it is that their parents put that in some of them. But what they don't understand, now, Miss Nikki Haley, her mom is an Indian, South Asian Indian. Even though she's a fair complected Indian woman, they gave her a hard time on the road. Even though her and Vivek, but after her and Vivek, before her and Vivek, they was giving her a hard now, and she's a light South descendant of a light South Asian Indian woman, and she ran for. I think she was the governor of South Carolina. And she was a female, and then it was said that she really didn't do much for her district, from what I heard from her, from what it was a report of. Bobby Jindal, that was a South Asian Indian, and he was I think he was the governor of Louisiana, but he had so many amount of time, that he was lucky. This is before Trump and them got in office. This time, what made Vivek stand out, when he went to the White House, would march alongside Elon, and this is what they don't understand. He trying to be an Elon in Trump's circle, and Elon didn't really want him in the circle. Probably I think it has something to do with him saying, hey, Trump said, why don't you go back and run and be governor of Ohio, and you have my support, whatever. He didn't even want him in the same vicinity, even though that basically, it was allegedly it was said in the White House that, and it was reported that he wanted to bring over other foreign workers to replace, and I think between him and Elon said that they want to place white male and female workers. See, people is going to forget, and see, there are people in Ohio that going to hear about this. Number two thing, right now, Trump, this ain't the time to run if I say to Vivek, this is not the time to run, man, because what Trump did to Medicare and Medicaid, what Trump did, what was going on in the streets, what Trump did to the farmers, what Trump did to the Medicare and Medicaid, SNAP, and then there are military veterans and their families are trying to eat because it's shut down, because he wanted so-called do something with the thing, and these other things that cost living. And you were buddies with Trump. Right now, Trump is in the hot seat right now. And it don't matter what part of the aisle you in. There are people that feel like they've been betrayed. People who supported Trump feel like they've been betrayed because they're hurting right now. Right now, in Ohio, I would say, Vivek, this is not the time to run. Because you made your face out there. You put your face out there with Elon. And people in Ohio haven't forgot that, like other people across the United States. And right now, whether you want to be for this way, you want to seem like you're conservative and try to be like, they don't accept you. And see, what you don't understand is they want people that look like them. This nationalist group is rising up behind the quote-unquote Charlie Kirk situation. That's why they're striking out. This is what they don't understand it. But I understand, because I know that's what your parents and people always tell them, that you're not like these other groups of people, that your education will get you higher, your status will get you higher. And I believe this, and they see, you can tell that even lighten the skin up because they want to be accepted. But it doesn't matter if you're a light white, near white and Hindu, father has a background of an Indian. They don't. This is what they're talking about. They during the time when J.D. Vance, when they found out J.D. Vance's wife was an Indian, they had a fit. Vic Fuentes pointed that out. The MAGA crowd. These are white conservatives. During the time they were mocking it. But how is he going to be representing us? And he got his wife is Indian. This is coming from them. This is what people are trying to tell him. And even people, and it's been black people like Tim Scott and these other politicians. You're not, and he didn't give, and Trump didn't give not one of them in office. All that bootlicking, the black Republicans, and not one position was given to him. Only one guy was given, that was House and Secretary of housing. And you see how the way Trump do his friends. He turns on even people that look like him. He turned on Comey. He turned on Bolton. He turned on his own. The one guy was a lawyer. And it's just basically, Cash Patel just hanging by a wing and a prayer. But the reason why, right now in Ohio, like other states, Vivek, I'm telling you, back down. You're not going to win this race, I'm telling you. People in Ohio are hurting. Trust me, like any across the country. Housing, because what Trump did to housing, Medicare, Medicaid, farmers here is probably in Ohio feeling the effect. Then what's going on with what they see in the cities. And it's because you stood by a political by him. This is the reason why, in that sense, it's going to hurt you in the polls. And on top of that, you got some people like some of these people at Turning Point in Ohio feel the same way. You might get some votes that have some liberated, sort of liberal, but then again, Vivek, you can get it from both sides. Because even with some liberals, they won't vote for you because you're for Trump. So the conservatives don't want you because you're race. Hey, I'm just being honest with you, man. I ain't trying, but I know that you can, you believe anything, and really just, some people, South Asian, they're smart people. They're smart. You're good at technology. You're good in medical. You're good at research at these things, and you already have a multi-billion dollar business. Just go back and do your business, bro. Go back and do your business, and stop trying to be in the field. Do what your fellow South Asians do. Stay in your technology and medical field. And do your business there, because right now, America ain't ready right now, and you're seeing something's rising up, and they get connected. Like I said, you have a multi-million dollar business. Just go over and do what you do and what you do, how you made your money in business, and stay in the business world. Stay out of the political world. You're not fit for it. You're not. You have, and it's not ready. Ohio's not that advanced yet. And with 75% Caucasian on both sides of the house, along with other people, and they see what you did in the past, and on social media, and words get back. So I'm just I'm just want to point that in you. And then the major thing, Elon was when y'all went in there the first and start cutting all the federal jobs and cutting all the benefits. That's what hurt you, Vivek.
That you want to be, and you already have.
God. He's part of the Holy Trinity, and any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith?
Doesn't seem like the Turning Point USA crowd is taking too kindly to Vivek Ramaswamy's practice of Hinduism. A Hinduism that was taught to him by his immigrant parents, by the way. But I digress. And just in case you think that was a one-off, no. You didn't hear the applause in the background, right? Well, let me bring you another one. And you might need to reference your Bigot Idiot Handbook for the next one, because intelligence and bigotry rarely operates in the same space. So take a listen to this next question.
A personal question. It's allowed. So based on what the press says about your beliefs, you call yourself a Hindu, but you also call yourself Christian. I don't call myself Christian. I call myself a Hindu. Okay. So based on what the Turning Point's values are, which is Christianity, I'm a little confused on why you believe in I don't know. Wouldn't it be logical to conclude that a monotheistic organization would be more, I don't know, I guess I just don't understand why.
It seems like it's going to take him a while to get to his point. Hold on. Alright, let's get back to it.
Logical to conclude that a monotheistic organization would be more, I don't know, I guess I just don't understand why I guess a polytheistic ideology would support some sort of, I guess, monotheistic perspective, which Christianity is. So I guess I'm wondering why you have Christian values in that way.
Sure. That wasn't all of it, but you get the gist of what was being said and implied, right? Yeah, right. So, Vivek, how does it feel? Oh, them conservative white boys are leaving you, aren't they? Yeah. So, I'm going to reach out and ask Charlie Kirk, by using my Ouija boards here, is this his turning point, USA? judge you accordingly to your.
Jesus Christ is God, and there is no other God. And any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith?
Christian voices should be the main voice of America, and I want to know, basically, why you seem to be, and I don't mean to be horribly offensive, but why you seem to be masquerading as a Christian.
I don't call myself Christian. I call myself Hindu. I'm not running to be pastor of Ohio. I'm running to be governor of Ohio, and I didn't run to be pastor of America. I ran to be president of the United States of America. Do you think it's inappropriate for someone who's a Hindu to be, say, a U.S. president? No, I think it's... no. Well, you be honest.
Because you're an Indian.
Yeah.
Never thought, never thought it over bigotry, but they weren't supposed to turn on me. No, never thought, never thought,
Visit shop.francesca.net to get your Leopards Eat My Face merch. Ahora en español.
So let me see here. First, you can't be a vice presidential candidate and be gay. Now, you can't be a presidential candidate and be Hindu, or a gubernatorial candidate and be Hindu. The white folks told Vivek Ramaswamy, look, we love you. We love you, man. We love everything about you. Your poise, your experience, your success, your belief system, not religious beliefs. That's where we gotta pump our brakes. Your policy is amazing. I agree with everything. But you not being a Christian, that's where I draw the line. We have seen both sides of the aisle basically be extremely prejudiced for two different reasons. On the Democratic side, we saw Vice President Kamala Harris when she was on the campaign trail to be the presidential nominee of the Democratic Party. She said her first choice was Secretary Pete Buttigieg, but she didn't pick him because he was gay. And to clarify, a lot of people say it wasn't just because he was gay, it was because of how people would perceive them together, a black woman and him being gay. That's too much going on. But at the end of the day, if he wasn't gay, he would have been chosen. And now we go to the...
And people gonna keep saying this, but Kamala never really, even though she went to a black university, but she really was more closer to her mother, which is she was a Hindu woman too, was a South Asian woman too, because when Mickey from that Mindy, whatever her name is, they were having discussing how similarities. They dark Asians, and I think some black people get that confused, and that even though she sounded like she got that sort like an accent, but no, she's South Asian. I don't know why some people don't seem to understand that. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and So it was the matter of fact that he when he made the statement during the time of Doge, so you have a lot of workers and people get slow in that all the government offices. He was a part of that. He was walking proudly with Elon when it was in situations when, so people in Ohio was a part. It was affecting people in Ohio. So, Vivek need to really think twice about. Like I said, he just need to go back and just run his business. I mean, if he want to run for local council, and because he's from down near the Cincinnati River area, Ohio River area, do that. But the jump from because you got the money, it's not going to go right now, Vivek. It's not going to go. That's not going right now. And then Well, Trump endorsed him right now. Trump's got a bad name right now. People are mad at Trump. A lot of voters and people don't even know this. Next month, a lot of people he gonna get an awakening because of what he did with the military, the farmers, agriculture, these tariffs, causing businesses. He's about to find a rude awakening. I mean, it might be some Democrats going back in office or some independents. Didn't anybody still agree with Trump? So, and he endorsed you. So, that's why I said no. And right now, like I said, people can kick off assistance, housing, medical, Medicaid. He's messing with people's government system. And you want to be a part of that? Ohio's not going to let you do it, Vivek. I'm telling you, I know Ohio. I live here in Ohio. I know from one of the four corners of Ohio, they're not going to let you do it. You might get some votes because some people that don't have they don't do the research. Some people don't pay attention to the news, so they just go along with they get along. And you can run your campaign, whatever, but people don't forget. People do not forget about what you and Elon did, and people in Ohio won't forget. Other than it, and then but what you said about no. See, the Hindu religion have their own separate deities. It has no connection to the Most High. Jesus said he's the only way, the light to the Father. That sounds like something Oprah Winfrey would say back in time. I'm here to tell you, no. None of them. The ones that the different deities and gods out of South Asia and India in particular, these like other nations, you're up under deities, you're up under principalities. You're not. I know you don't want to, but it's a fact. And you're not next to the resurrection. You can't. And then people trying to put Christ on the same level as the deities of these Hindu gods. No. No Hindu god ever conquered evil and defeat the evil. No Hindu god ever came back and said they was coming back and actually came back in the third day. Christ run that realm. No other deity that like the African so-called gods, the European so-called Nordic gods. There's only one that ever came back. So he's the one, the resurrection. None of the deities. From what I understand about the deities is that they believe in reincarnation or come back as some animal or something else. Just like certain places in Africa and other places. But Christ reigns the rule. That's what they're basically saying. So, and right now, America is currently the Babylon of all the different religions. But there's a segment of people that believe in Jesus Christ. But their version of Jesus Christ. So, but yeah, that's what we differ from people. Oh, we don't. Just like even in Islam, it's the same way. No, we don't. They just in Islam, Jesus is a prophet. To them, they don't believe he died on the cross. They don't believe he's the son of the resurrection, even though we see it in their word. That's the truth. And there are certain sectors in the Judaism that don't believe that believe that Jesus was here, but he's left down there. Yeah. And that's your Orthodox ones. That's the truth. Now, the Messianic Jews, they believe in the Messiah like the Christians. But Vivek, nope. And even all the religions, you know, the major thing now, one thing about the West that the South Asian gurus, some of the gurus or priests brought over was similar to what they call their version of health through yoga in different stances. But let me tell you, even with all the different parts of the South Asian religions, them stance is similar to the pagan worship of the sun. It doesn't give Christ the one. So no, no. This is the truth. Every style that you see, that they brought over here from India to the West, that doing exercise to breathe and meditate, that gives honor to a different deity, even though it's under the guise of health. All the religions do it. Jainism, all of them, all the different Hindu people, that they different religions. You look at how the way they pray and do their worship, but it has no connection to the Most High, to His Son Yeshua the Christ. And some that give their life to Christ will tell you that they so. There's some that Christ is playing. So Vivek, the reason that's as far as the spiritual stuff, but the reality of it is, you see it, and even though I know your parents always told you, yeah, you can achieve some things, but there's only so far you can go. Because by the history of this country, it always looked at the complexion. You can work hard. Like I said, you can do hard and good in business and agriculture, medical, like other groups of people do, and which people do have good skills at. But this time, no. What's about to rise up, I'm telling you, you see it's acting out. That's people being real. Even the ones that have blonde hair and blue eyes. And we know where that come from, right? But anyway, yeah, but they telling you this, Ohio was a part of that. Ohio people know about this. If anybody got the internet, they know. If they got research, they know. And some probably remember this. So you're going to get it from the conservative side and the liberated side, because some being taken away, and some of the laws, even though you do have some good points, but both sides don't want you. Whether it's the majority of the white people on the left or the majority of white people on the right. But the ones that's conservative, like these young people, they telling you, and culture pretty much told you. It's a cold world. That's how America is. All right then, ladies and gentlemen. Hope, like, and subscribe, but this is not to be mean, vindictive, or say anything out of hate. This is telling the truth. He's not going to be able to win because who he associate with. Because he associate with Trump. Trump's in the hot seat right now. And people are still pissed at what Elon did. Think about it. So he should go on back and do his business and do what he do best. Stay out of politics. Vivek, this is not your time. Take care, everybody. See you on the next video.